Once upon a time, there lived a very old and poor woman in a village in the east called Ezine. Everyone in the village respected Ezine not only because she was an old woman, but because her words were always filled with wisdom. The villagers would come to Ezine's hut for advice, as her counsel had a way of guiding them through their life problems. But this was not the case for Ezine's adult sons, Ibe and Ifedili. Many years ago, when Ifedili and Ibe were still little boys, Ezine sat them down and told them that life was like a tree that bore fruit in different seasons. She also went on to tell them that success was not measured by wealth, but by how one impacts others positively. Ezine would most times refer to herself as the wealthiest person in the village, but her sons would laugh at her and remind her of the abject poverty that surrounded their family. Ibe and Ifedili, after seeing how poor their family was, swore to themselves never to be poor like their mother and did all they could to become rich. The brothers went into several businesses which gave them little money, but still they were not satisfied as they had vowed to be extremely wealthy in life. One day, Ezine was sitting outside her hut when a woman approached her. The woman looked so hungry and unkempt, and she begged Ezine for some food and shelter. Ezine was greatly touched as she ushered the woman into her house. She had just returned from the farm and just prepared food for her two sons and herself. But seeing how hungry the woman was, Ezine gave the woman her own portion of food, and the young lady was so grateful. When the woman finished eating, she begged Ezine to allow her sleep in her house as she had nowhere to go, and Ezine agreed. When Ibe and Ifedili returned home and saw the woman laying on their bed, they were furious and asked their mother why she decided to help the woman when they were not wealthy themselves. And their mother told them that the best investment one can make is in people who can do absolutely nothing for you. Ibe and Ifedili were still furious but could not do anything as they were still living in their mother's little hut. The brothers now sat down and decided between themselves that they would both prove their mother wrong by showing her that one can only be wealthy when they had money. The brothers began to make friends with the bad boys in the village and engaged in numerous dubious practices to make money, as all legitimate means of creating wealth did not yield them the wealth that they so yearned for. Their mother, Ezine, had advised them severally to stop hanging around the bad boys, as a good name was far better than riches. But all her counsel fell on deaf ears till one fateful day. Ifedili and Ibe went to Maazi Ebube's house to steal some money, and on their way out, they ran into Maazi Ebube. Maazi Ebube had so much respect for Ezine because Ezinne had helped him in the past. So he decided to report what Ifedili and Ibe did to Ezinne, their mother, instead of the village chiefs. When Ezinne heard of what her sons had done, she was heartbroken, but her sons were not remorseful for their actions. All they wanted was to be wealthy at all costs. Ezinne began to receive complaints from villagers about her son's escapades, and she began to wonder where she had gone wrong. This made Ezinne to start thinking more, and she developed high blood pressure, which led to a serious heart attack one afternoon. Ezinne died of the heart attack, and her sons were filled with so much regret and guilt. "We have killed our mother," they wept bitterly. They could not believe how much they missed their mother at this point, a woman who did nothing but show them love. Her death hit them deeply, and they made up their minds never to engage in dubious practices anymore. However, by this time, their reputation around the village had already tarnished, and all their efforts to become wealthy did not yield any positive result, as no one in the village wanted to have any dealings with them. Ibe and Ifedili then decided to turn a new leaf and began to pursue legitimate means of making money. Few years later, Ibe and Ifedili got married and were still living in their mother's little hut. They began to have children too, and were now living a normal life in the village. One morning, everyone was home having breakfast when they heard a strange knock on the door. Ifedili went to check on who was knocking and saw a young man standing outside their hut. He was confused as he had not seen this young man before. "Who are you and what do you want?" asked Ifedili, and the young man replied that his name was Amobi. As they were talking, a woman approached them, and Ifedili immediately remembered the woman's face. "Were you not the woman my mother gave food and a bed to lay on many years ago?" he asked, and the woman smiled and replied that she was the same woman. Then she went on to ask about their mother, Ezinne, and Ifedili broke the news of his mother's death to the woman, and tears began to roll down the woman's eyes as she revealed to Ifedili that she had promised herself so long ago to return Ezinne's kind gesture to her many years. By this time, the whole family was now standing behind Ifedili as they wondered what was going on. The woman went on to show Ifedili all she had brought to thank his mother Ezinne for her kindness and wise words. The woman revealed that it was their mother's wise advice that made her wealthy, and that she would not be where she is today if not for their mother Ezinne. The gifts the woman gave to Ifedili and Ibe changed their lives forever as they became so wealthy. The wealth they weren't able to accumulate all their life was given to them because of their mother's kindness and wisdom. Ifedili and Ibe soon remembered how their mother would laugh and say that she was the wealthiest woman in the village, and this memory brought tears to their eyes. However, despite all their wealth, the villagers still did not respect or regard them, and this made them remember their mother's wise saying that a good name is far better than riches, and they wished they listened to their mother more. The lesson to be learned from this story is that a good name is far better than riches. Do not want something so much that you are willing to damn every consequence to have it. What happens is that you might achieve that thing, but regret your actions in the long run. Be wise always and make the right decisions. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.